So just as air, water and food are essential for life, so is good sleep. We all know how horrible it is and how really tough life is when you just don't sleep.
What are you doing, babe? It's 3 in the morning.
I can't sleep.
Sleep is really important psychologically as it affects our mood, our concentration and our memory. It also affects our work and social performance and our general well-being, just to name a few. So now let's look at specific strategies to improve sleep. Firstly, listening to audiobooks. For some reason, listening to audiobooks really helps some people get off to sleep. It tends to require less concentration than reading, and perhaps it reminds us of being read off to sleep when we were children. I suggest you listen to something mild, like a fantasy or an adventure, maybe something like Lord of the Rings. So listen to the sample and see what you think.
In the Alps, it has often seemed laborious to go uphill towards the end of a day. It was a new sensation to find it an almost impossible exertion to drag oneself up a matter of 150 feet, and further exertions were to be required of us. A little way down the valley, a glacier stream came in on our right.
It's worth a try. It doesn't work for everyone, but a lot of people have had significant improvement in their sleep by using audiobooks. Next strategy. Visualization. Visualization is a useful technique if your mind is restless. If you find yourself in this situation, try imagining a very peaceful place and make it as real as possible. Imagine the sounds around you, the sound of the ocean, or the sound of the birds or the trees moving in the gentle warm breeze. You might be able to smell the ocean or the lovely fauna around you. Try to imagine the feeling of the nice warm breeze and the lovely feeling of resting in that peaceful place. If your mind wanders off, bring it back to that restful place, to the smells, the sounds and the restful feeling of that place. A lot of people find focusing on not sleeping as really unhelpful. It can be useful to try and find ways to enjoy your rest, even if you are not sleeping. Next strategy, enjoy the rest. Try not to look at the clock or get concerned about not being asleep. Rather, focus on how nice it is to be resting. Try not to worry about not being asleep. Appreciate the fact that you still have a good amount of time to rest before you have to get up. Feel content and happy that you are comfortable and at rest. Notice how comfortable you feel. You could even place a pillow between your knees when you lie on your side. Notice and stay focused on your comfort and rest. Remind yourself that it's okay and that your body is resting. Next strategy, slowing down. Now at times it's really hard to get to sleep because our mind is all amped up and racing. We need to slow our thoughts down. To do this, try thinking of just one thing, such as something that is not either concerning or exciting, just something that's good, something that made you feel good. It might be something nice that happened at work, or perhaps your child scored a goal in their sports, or you might have just had a really great moment with your partner. When you have chosen the thought, remember it, relive it, and play it over and over in your mind slowly. If you notice you start to think about other things, bring your focus back to your chosen thought. Now this takes some perseverance, but it can really help to slow your thinking down. So now you've slowed your thoughts down, you need to also slow your nervous system down. You could try this. About 3 hours before you go to bed, start doing things slower. Walk slower, talk slower, think slower, do domestic tasks slower. All this will help to slow and relax your physical system, ready for sleep. When in bed, focus on your breath and count 1 to 5 as you breathe in, hold for 1 to 2, and then breathe out on the count of 1 to 5. This will slow your respiratory rate down, which in turn should lower your heart rate and blood pressure and help to slow and calm your nervous system. This is a good thing to do either while doing a visualization or focusing on one good memory. This also takes perseverance, but it can really help. It's very hard to get to sleep when your nervous system is stimulated and overactive and you have cortisol and adrenaline surging around your body. This strategy will help to calm and slow the nervous system down so you can sleep. Next strategy, doing a things to do list before you go to bed. Sometimes we have trouble getting off to sleep because we are so concerned that we might forget all those things that we have to do tomorrow or later in the week. By writing a things to do list, we don't have to worry about these things. We can rest easy, knowing that they're written down and they won't be forgotten. Next strategy, deal with any worries, problems or concerns before you go to bed. This is one of the number one barriers for people struggling to get off to sleep because they are so worried and concerned about their problems and they just overthink and worry about these things, which stops them getting off to sleep. By taking time before you go to bed to identify any problems or concerns that you're worried about can really help you get off to sleep. It can be a good idea to write out what you're worried about and look at possible solutions, pros and cons, and develop a really good action plan. Writing it down tends to transfer it from your head to paper, which helps to externalize it, which means you can be more objective and which helps you to develop better solutions and develop a really good action plan. After you've done this, if you think about it again, you just remind yourself it's okay. You've got a plan, you're making progress, and this gives you a sense of control and a sense of progress, which should really help you get off to sleep. You'll find a helpful tool to support this process in your resource book. It's called the Worry Plan. So this is how you could use the Worry Plan. For example, you might find yourself worried about a project at work that is not going well and is playing over and over in your mind when you are trying to get to sleep. So firstly, you could identify what the problem or concern is. So we will write in there work project. The next task is to develop an action plan, which could look something like this. First thing you could do is list the barriers to the project. So write in here, list of barriers. The second thing could be to identify any solutions. So write in there, list of possible solutions. Next thing could be to call a meeting, which might generate some support and new ideas. So write in here, arrange a meeting. Now the meeting could generate new ideas with new time frames, so a new project plan will be needed. So we could put in there, new project plan. And now if you find yourself thinking about the project again when you are trying to get to sleep, just remind yourself that you have a plan, it's written down, you won't forget it, and you are making progress and have a sense of control. So that's an example of how you might use the Worry Plan. Now you could write in what is relevant to you in your situation for any worries that could be getting in the way of your sleep. Now after you've done that, or while you are using the Worry Plan, you could turn it over and you'll see on the back a problem-solving worksheet. Now this can also be a very helpful tool when problem solving to help identify possible solutions, pros and cons, and then developing an action plan in a little bit more detail than what we've described. It's not always necessary to do this, but it's there if you feel you need it, and it's an extra help when problem solving and developing an action plan. Now one thing, make sure you don't do the strategy right before you go to bed. Do it at least 3 to 4 hours before you go to bed, perhaps after dinner, so that you've got time for your mind to be distracted from those things before you actually hit the pillow. Next strategy, exercise. Regular exercise is a really good strategy to help with sleep. Maybe it triggers a response in the brain that says, yes, the body has worked and now it's ready for rest. But don't do strenuous exercise right before you go to bed. Like the other strategy, it's activating. So therefore do it 3 to 4 hours before you go to bed. Next strategy, hot bath or shower. Having a hot bath or shower before you go to bed can be useful as it raises your body temperature, causing you to feel sleepy as your body temperature drops. Research shows that sleepiness is associated with a drop in body temperature. So if you can heat your body up, then when it drops, this will aid with your sleep. Avoid stimulants. So avoid caffeine and nicotine. It is best to avoid consuming coffee, sweet drinks, chocolates, nicotine for at least 4 to 6 hours before you go to bed. These substances act as stimulants and interfere with your body's ability to get off to sleep. Next strategy, avoid alcohol. It is also best to avoid alcohol at least 4 to 6 hours before going to bed, as later, when your body is metabolizing it, it can wake you up. Regular sleep and routine. One of the best ways to train your body to sleep is to go to bed and get up at the same time every day. This regular rhythm will help you feel better and help you to regulate your sleep. Even if you've had a bad night's sleep and are tired, try not to sleep during the next day. Next strategy, develop a sleep plan. Have a process of what you do each night before you go to bed. It's like a car. It has a process of slowing down before it stops. You don't see a car driving into a garage at 50k. No, it has a process of slowing down, braking, changing down the gears, decelerating, and then it parks, and then the engine is turned off. We, like the car, need a similar process whereby we slow down and then shut down. Everyone is different, so you need to tailor a plan to suit you and your situation. A sleep plan could look like this and include the following. After dinner, you could do your things to-do list or a worry plan, then start doing everything slower. Walk slower, talk slower, do the domestics slower. Then you could have a hot shower or a bath, read, have a glass of warm milk, turn the lights out, put on an audio book and or do a visualization and or focus on a positive memory. Place a pillow between your knees and start focusing on your breath and start breathing slower. Now you might not do all these things, just do the ones that work for you and follow the same pattern every night. This way you will get to know what works for you and will develop a good sleep habit and plan. So that's some of our strategies to improve sleep. Now would be a good time for you to reflect on some of the strategies mentioned and using the Lifestyle Balance worksheet to reflect and record anything in your life currently that you think is not helping you get off to sleep and what strategies mentioned that you think would be worth trying. So this is how you could use the Lifestyle Balance worksheet when considering sleep. Some examples of things that could not be working and helping could be things like going to sleep late, lying in bed worrying about things, or having no process to slow down before you go to bed. Now some examples of things that could help could be to start a regular sleep routine, do a worry plan before you go to bed, use audio books, and make a sleep plan to help slow down and identify things which help you get off to sleep. So that's an example of some things that could help and how to use the Lifestyle Balance worksheet in regard to sleep. And now you could write in what is relevant to you and your situation for sleep. It would also be a good time to turn the page over and look at the wellbeing plan. This plan is a very important tool to establish all the foundational strategies in your life on a consistent basis. Now, in terms of sleep and the wellbeing plan, write in your sleep times, which for this example I will say 10 p.m. for going to bed during the week and get up at 7 a.m. in the morning, and a bit later to bed in the weekends, say 11:30 p.m, and a bit of a sleep in, say 9:30 a.m. You could also include items of your sleep plan, like doing a worry plan, which for this example I will put it in after dinner. You could also add in other items of the sleep plan if you wanted. So that's an example of how you could use the wellbeing plan in regard to sleep. So the wellbeing plan is a great way to help plan and schedule so you can make necessary changes in the important areas of your life. And now you could write in what is relevant to you and your situation for sleep. So that's the end of section 1. In the next section, we will review the rest of the foundational strategies for good mental health. I'll see you there. Now, if you feel you need more than this program right now, you can call one of the numbers on the screen for someone to talk to.